Yo, it's Crazy Kurt Comics. Yo, I got a thick stack. Today is new comic book day. It is the best day of the week for comic book fans. Hey, I gotta tell you about my experience today at the LCS with the release of the very first issue of Hush2. That's right, the sequel to Hush started today. And I just gotta tell you about my experience in my LCS and what happened today. Then we're gonna talk about why Wednesdays are the best days of the week. I got a startling confession to make. You know, you're going to want to stick around to see what that is. And then, of course, we got some new books to go over. It's going to be a good time. Stick around, because the more you stick around, the more you find out. This is Crazy Kurt Comics. Let's go! Hey, you stuck around. Thanks. I really do appreciate it. Let's get the business out of the way. If you rock with me, hit this subscribe button. Hit the little bell. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. Let's get the notifications every time I do videos. And I just want to take a moment to thank you, the audience. Now, I know the channels are starting, and whether it's, I don't even care if it's just one person who's watching. If you're taking time out of your busy, hectic lives to spend even a couple minutes with me watching this video, hey, I do appreciate it. I just like comics. I like the hobby. I like pop culture. So I'll be talking about it with other people, so I might as well talk about it with as many people as I possibly can, which is you guys out there. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for anybody who may be subscribing, who watches. I do appreciate it. But like I said, today is new comic book day. And it's a thick stack, people. Today was a great day at the LCS. Now, like I said in the intro, it is Hush2 came out today. Now, if you've been living on the rock for the last 25 years, one of the most well-received, I mean, there's always lists of greatest Batman stories, and I always see it at the top of the list or near the top of the list. Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee got together and made an amazing story called Hush. Everybody who's ever read it says it's one of the greatest, Batman stories ever told. And, well, they got together. I mean, it's been 23 years since it came out the first time. Well, the same creators, Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee, have gotten together, and they're making Hush2. I don't know if that many people heard about it. But, yes, that came out today with issue number 158. I'm going to put it right here. This is what it looks like. 158, Batman, first in the story of Hush2. So there was a lot of buzz about this. Now, I got to tell you about my particular experience at the LCS today. Now, my LCS is in a pretty populated area. When I go there on Wednesdays, there's usually a lot of people. Sometimes, you have to wait in line for a couple people. Sometimes there'll be 10, 15 minutes in between purchases. This is a little video that I took when I got there. Check this out. This is what happens when you have something that's really anticipated. Hush2 comes out. They're already out of 8 covers. The store's been open 30 minutes, and there's a bunch of people here already, and they're already sold out. It's crazy. And I was there for an hour and a half, and there were people nonstop at the register. But it's not always like that when I go there. So there was an excitement in the air today when I went there, and I got to tell you, it all has to do with Hush2. I mean, there were a lot of books that were released today. There were other books that came out. But the excitement for this, I mean, was palpable. You can sense when you walked in, hey, what's going on? There's something going on today. You can just feel it in the air. I love when they have events like this to get people going. When they say, every now and then you see a post somewhere that says, oh, comic books are dying. But then I see stuff like this and I think, oh, comic books are alive and thriving. So, I don't know where you fall in that spectrum. But you get two good creators together. You put out a good book. Hopefully it'll be good. I haven't read it yet. But, this is what you get. So my particular experience at the LCS was I got there at 11:30, and guess what, people? You saw in the video, like I said, it was sold out already. So your boy does not get a 158. I had resigned myself to go to eBay, and I'm going to have to spend $10, maybe more, depending on what speculators are doing, to get a $5 comic book I could have got my LCS if I would have got there a little bit earlier. That is how the cookie crumbles. So, a little disappointed about that part. So, now they did have some other stuff there. They had a couple foil copies left. I didn't want to get those. I like getting the A covers. This is my thing, people. I like A covers. I like the main cover is supposed to have, unless there's some other reason to get the other variant covers, a particular artist that you love or like a particular thing to try to collect, like the Alice Ross ones. I like the A covers. That's just me. That's just my own personal, as me and you get to know each other, through these videos. I like A covers. That's just me. I grew up old school when there was only one cover, and that was all you got. So, I wanted the A covers. They were sold out. But there were lots of other books there today. And we'll get into some books later on in the video. But, the fact that it was sold out, I was like, what am I going to do? Now, they did have the big versions. Now, I don't know if anybody's seen these things. They're like huge. They got to be like, they're like 18 by like 15 maybe. I don't know. But there's these gigantic versions of the book they're going to be releasing, all the Hush 2. And the artwork's bigger and you get more detail. It's really cool looking. But I just don't know how you collect it and store it in a nice way where it doesn't get ruined. So there was a couple people who didn't get one and they ended up getting that big one. But man, I didn't know they made stuff like that. And then like, I don't know how, I just don't know how you collect it and store it. There ain't no bag and board for it. I mean, it's huge. It's bigger than a magazine. It's just nuts. So you have those out there. So that was the Hush 2 experience. You know, Wednesdays are the best days of the week. I mean, I can't say that enough. If you are a comic book fan, you already know this. If you made it this far into the video and you're just starting to get into comic books and you didn't know that comic books come out every Wednesday, well, now you do. Comic books come out once a month, maybe twice a month, and different titles come out on different weeks, but they all come out on Wednesday. So I love going to the comic book store. I think comic book collecting, when you go to a comic book store on a Wednesday, it's one of the only hobbies I know without any like precursor, without any forewarning, you could just walk up into the place where you do the hobby and just expect to get in conversations with random strangers about the hobby itself. Like, sports has this a little bit. You go to a sports bar, you watch a game, you can get into conversations about sports with other people at the bar. But, like, if you're crocheting and you go to the store to buy yarn, are you really getting in random conversations with people in the aisle buying other yarn? No. You know, so, like, is this one of them hobbies where, like, we're all geeks. We're all pop culture nerds. So we have all that going on today. So I mentioned in the opening that I have some sort of confession I have to make. And this particular comic book sin is perfect for today. And, well, listen to this. Hi, I'm Crazy Curt Comics, and I have a confession to make. Today, Batman number 158 was released. Creators Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee started a sequel to their critically acclaimed story arc, Hush, from 2002. Now, I say critically acclaimed. By almost everybody who's ever read this book, I've seen it on so many lists of some of the best Batman stories. And by all accounts, they're right. But I just can't account for it because my confession is I've never read it. I know. Blasphemy. But that's the way it is, people. I just didn't read it. Look, man, if you know anything about me, just bear with me for 1 minute of your life. I collected in the late 80s. I stopped in the year 2000. Much of the comic books I have back here were collected then. 2000, life took over and I did other things and I didn't collect comic books. And 2021, I moved to Utah. I made this wonderful, 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 wonderful comic book room. And I displayed all my comics again and I fell in love with the hobby again. So from 2000 to 2021, there's a lot of stuff I missed, people. There's a lot of stuff and I'm still catching up. I mean, a lot of the stuff you see on the shelf, I'm still reading. So I know this is a great story. And, well, at least from what people have said, it's a great story. But I have yet to read it. And that is my confession. But I do have it, people. Look, I made sure I have it. I have it. I just haven't read it yet. And I feel kind of bad about it. So that is my confession. Now, do you have a book that you are almost ashamed that you haven't read? Maybe it's The Watchmen, something like that. Let me know in the comments below if there's a book that everybody else has read and you feel like almost embarrassed to say that you haven't read, because I'm embarrassed to say that I haven't read this. But it's on my list now and we're going to get to reading it this weekend. And you ask, well, how is this possible? Well, it's just possible. Like, I was aware of stuff that happened in comic books during the time I was away. I knew about Civil War, I knew about Civil War II, I knew, the death of Captain America, and I knew, about Miles Morales, and I knew different things. I knew about the Ultimate Verse. But I just, just can't read everything in the 4 years I've been back. So sue me. Don't hate, appreciate. So at least I'm being honest about it. So that's my confession. But there is a silver lining to this, is that while I was in line to pay for my comic books, they were restocking shelves, and lo and behold, they found a bag that had 20 copies of Batman 158. It was mixed in with the other new releases. They were filling in the shelves of stuff that had moved, and you know what? They found the bag that they had mixed up with other stuff, and there were 20 copies, and they, like, within 5 minutes, they gave them to all the people in line, and I got one. Yes, sir, Bob, I got one. So, woo! Man, I thought I was going to have to go to eBay and all that. Nope. I got Hush 158. There it is. So, whoo, your boy got one. So, before I read this, I got to read this. So, man, I lucked out today, boy. Woo! That was a good one. Alrighty, so now we're going to go through all the new comic books that I got, New Comic Book Day. Hey, today was a big day. I have a philosophy on how I go about buying new comic books, New Comic Book Day. I've been trying to limit what I buy and try to, use my money towards grails and other bigger collections, omnibuses, things like that. So I've had to cut down. I try not to get any more than 10 books at max. I mean, I try to do way less than that, but if I have to buy 10, I'll get 10. And out of those 10, I try to break it down like this. I try to do 7 that I regularly am reading. I try to find a new book. If there's like a new indie book or something new that I could try, that's 8. And then I try to find 2 back issues if I can. So that's like kind of like how or there's some kind of mix of those. Back issues, new books, and then books I read on a regular basis. So this is what I got today, and I'll give you the reasons why I collected them or didn't collect them. But, all right. So first up is Doom Academy. Now, one of the things in my new philosophy for buying new comic books is I'm not buying limited series. I'm not buying every Doom book for the One World Under Doom storyline. I'm not buying every book, but I do like stories where it's young kids or younger characters learning to become superheroes, New Mutants, The Strange Academy. So I'll get Doom Academy just because I got the first one, so I'll get the second one. Red Hulk, I like the character, so I got that one. Now here's my new book. I don't know anything about it, so if you know something about it, chime in down below, but don't spoil it for anybody. My LCS owner recommended this to me. We're taking everyone down with us. It's by Image. I have no idea anything about it, but he says it's pretty good. So I'm looking forward to that. He's usually pretty right about books he recommends. I got Seasons 3. Now, this is interesting. Rick Remender, I read the first one off recommendation from the LCS owner. The first one intrigued me enough. I'm not a huge fan of whimsical artwork, but I want to, the questions that were brought up in the first book, I want to know what the answers are. So I'm going to stick around for a little bit. And, hopefully I get some answers. And I'm pretty intrigued so far. Even though this style of artwork is not really my aesthetic, I'll hang on for a little bit. All right, Martian Manhunter. Speaking of styles and aesthetic, Martian Manhunter, absolute number 1. Now, it's a number 1 in the Absolute universe. You have to get it. But I have to be honest with you. If the artwork is like this on the inside, this is the only issue I'll get. I'm not a big fan of this style of artwork. And Martian Manhunter is an okay character for me. I know he has his fans. I just don't know enough about him. I'm not familiar enough with him to really have a big take on him one way or the other. Wonder Woman, Absolute Universe. There we go. Absolute Wonder Woman. Got to get that one, right? And, Ultimate Spider-Man. So Ultimate and Absolute, these are the best things going in each of the companies. These 2 books. These 2 universes. I'm a fan more of those than I am the regular people in the universes. So, Ultimate Wolverine, of course. You have to get that one. Now, I'm a big fan of Wolverine, even Laura Kinney Wolverine, but I'm not a fan of this artwork. This artwork looks a little sophomoric. So, this might be the last issue I end up getting. But what I like to do with new books, if I'm collecting them, I'll get like the first 5, and then I'll jump off unless it's really compelling and wants me, and there's a reason for me to stick around. All right, I got this one. Can you tell me why I got this one, people? It's Vampirella number 1, but it's not the A cover. Now, why did I get this one, people? And don't say boobs. I mean, it's one of the reasons why you buy this, but it's not the reason why I bought this one. This one, if you don't know, this is a Mark Spears cover, one of the hottest cover artists going right now. So he did a variant cover for Vampirella number 1 by Dynamite, so I picked up that one. And then after buying this one, I was in the car and I was driving home. I should have got the regular A cover just to get the number 1. But, and I have something to say about number 1s a little later on. Of course, you got to get Amazing Spider-Man. This is a prerequisite. You have to, even if the stories are bad, you still have to get Amazing Spider-Man. And then the regular Wonder Woman. I'm still reading this one too. And then I got 2 back issues. Now, the 2 back issues that I got, speaking of number ones, I mentioned a couple minutes ago, I been doing a thing since last fall. My comic book store had a 50% off sale, ran for a whole month. And he always put out new stuff all the time. So I was going in, and I mean, I don't have the money to buy, giant size X-Men number 1 or like these huge grails that cost, a couple $100. So what can I get and make a collection out of different things? And like, it'd be cool to have all the number 1s of different series, even if the series didn't last that long. Maybe the series only lasted 20 issues. Maybe it only lasted 50 issues. Maybe it only lasted 100 issues. So I started going through and seeing how many different number 1s. Like, all the Rebirth number 1s are really attainable. They're like $3, $4 a piece. It's really crazy. The New 52 number 1s, they're all easily gettable. So I started doing that. I started picking up all the number 1s of all different ones that I could find. So I got 2 more today. I got a Rebirth Cyborg. That was $3. And I got a New Warriors number 1 because it has Nova on the front. And I got a video idea coming up later about Nova. I got a whole bunch of Nova stuff recently. So I've been going around trying to get all the different number 1s of Nova on the cover. So that's going to go along with that. And that is my comic book haul. And it was a lot this week. And then, of course, Batman Hush2. So lots of stuff going on. And, I have on my phone lists of different things to look for every time I go in. I'm still looking for the Alex Ross Heroes. I'm still looking for a Captain America 26. I think it's volume number 7. It's a variant cover. It's got Alex Ross, and it's the Red Hulk fighting Captain America. So I'm still looking for that one. There's 2 villains I'm looking for. If you don't know what I'm doing, I'm going back and trying to get all the hero sets. I have a video on this. You can go check it at the end of this video. I'll put that video up. But trying to get all the heroes, and I found out I had a problem with all the villains that I had collected because there's a new set coming out. So that's a pretty interesting thing going on over there. That's a challenge, like a side quest I'm doing with collecting comics, and so that's what I got going on. It's a lot of stuff. There's always, you can't really tell, but I got like little piles everywhere. I don't know if you can see this here, but like there's a little pile down there. I got piles on the table. I got a pile right there. There's a stack and a stack, and there's piles everywhere, people. So there's all kinds of stuff going on all the time here. And I never have enough free time. I could do this for the rest of my life and still probably not get it all done. But, yeah, that's the life of a comic book person. Alrighty, people, that's today's show. So there's lots of stuff in there. There's Wednesdays. There's my experience at the LCS. There's, Hush and Hush2. Yes, I know. I didn't read it. I'm an idiot. And then we got lots and lots of new books. So lots of stuff to dig through there. Thank you for sticking around. And remember, hey, can you please hit subscribe, click the video wherever it's at. And the video I'll put up is the one for the Alex Ross challenge. You can check that. But there's other good videos on there. Check out my tour of all the comic book mugs that I own. It's a lot. I did a tour of the room and upstairs and all the other places I have comic book mugs. I have a whole bunch. It's not just 5 or 6 people. It's a whole bunch. So you might want to check out that video too. Alrighty, that's all I got. Thanks for sticking around. Hopefully, the more you stick around, the more you find out. This is Crazy Curt Comics. Peace!